me coming like an intruder. I give you last a lesson of verbal combat with ill pen maneuvers. Subdue ya. When the spoon hits the teacup, you wake up. Welcome to my class. Just listen, don't speak. Visualize what you can't see. Call me the rap Bruce Lee. Wing tongue techniques. Let the flow creep like you deep that hasn't eaten for weeks. I've been fast no sleep, but y'all been sleeping on me like hoopers on New York Park benches. Homie, I never left the trenches. Plotting patiently and calm with my ears open listening to these culture vultures, praising worldly sculptures. Man, they wearing skinny jeans and Maybelline. Dipping up so much lean, they dying to reach their dreams. Run around like, hey, Miss Thing. I'm like, hey, yo, son, pass the crown to the king. You dig? Get your hair right, y'all doing it wrong. Boys make the beat, now that's a dope song. Get your game tight, homie, not just games, this is grown man rap. Keep your sweet 16. Get your hair right, y'all doing it wrong. Boys make the beat, now that's a dope song. Get your game tight, homie, not just games, this is grown man rap. Keep your sweet 16. Y'all rap fans don't have a chance.
Let's move on to talk. Let's move on to Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Because my view on Black Lives Matter, and that just morally, I can't ride with Black Lives Matter. Our morals don't align. And reading through their 13 guiding principles, it seems to me, it would seem that it doesn't necessarily support the Black man as well. The main thing is, and I take issue with, is if my brother comes and kills me, it's not, my life doesn't matter as much as if a white man comes and kills me. And that's what I take issue with. Because this organization, where it's not targeted at police brutality, their target and their name is Black Lives Matter. Why do Black lives only matter when taken by the police, but they don't matter whenever they're taken in the womb or they're taken by the numbers? We know the numbers are high when it comes to black homicide and black on black crime. You can talk about stigmas. Every race, which the race in itself, that's a whole nother episode in itself, race and the construct of race. But there's stigmas in every race, okay? Where it's stigmas and stereotypes. So we can say that it's a stigma, that black on black crime is a stigma, but if you look at the high number of black on black murders, then you could believe that, okay, then it's not just a stigma whenever we're seeing that this is happening. So that's, I mean, what I wanted to know y'all's opinion on Black Lives Matter and my issue with why they're seemingly one-sided when it comes to Black lives.
Here's my take with that one there, and I've heard, and that, you made a lot of valid points, and I've encountered those points before for myself. The root of Black Lives Matter started when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. And Black Lives Matter had more to do with the justice system and more to do with the allowing people to get off for crimes done to black people.
Right.
And how black people were treated treated differently in the justice system. And I think that's the root of why that movement started. Now, going back to that, there are a lot of organizations within the inner cities and within out there, you know, that black people are working towards making their niche known and getting out into these communities and are trying to do things to transform the communities. But I think what everybody's having, like I said, going back to it again, we can't hardly change those communities because there are people out there on the ground feet, like athletes and everybody. They're trying to put money into these communities, trying to find a way, like Devin George, when he was doing in Minnesota, like he was doing the co-op program where, you know, people do the gardens and stuff within the hood. He built up a housing development within the hood and people worked to, and Devin George, basketball player that used to play with the Lakers. And he started doing all of that. And so, you know, that's the type of stuff a lot of athletes and stuff are doing. But those are only created through in those small numbers. but also until the society and that stuff is changed, in which the government stop with the redlining, and if redlining is not as prevalent, and along with that too, government funding, because we're gonna need government funding to build it back up. There's just no ifs and buts about it. You got to, just like, you know, like all the guys are rewarded, and white people say, oh, I earned everything. I said, if you go back in history, anybody that fought in World War II got their 40 acres and a mule, except for black people. I say, you know, most white wealth is generational wealth, some is not. Now I understand everybody didn't, you know, everybody worked hard. I get that. I said, but black people did not get their reward for fighting wars. They didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. They didn't get none of that, okay? So nobody in the black community had a head start. When we did have Wall Street in Tulsa, it got destroyed. When we had a thriving community in East St. Louis, it got destroyed. And even when people were thriving down south, the KKK came in and tortured their businesses. Yep. So, you know, whenever you look at stuff like that, you know, you still recovering from that. You know, people still recovering. Like, you know, it's kind of like, okay, we're running the same race, but one group has more obstacles than the other. Of course, the one that has more obstacles is going to be behind the other one that don't have as many obstacles.
Oh, as many hurdles. That's right.
Yeah, many hurdles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but going back to that, and I think
not to say that we won't still be successes, but we have to get over so many hurdles to get to that.
And I don't think they discount Black Lives Matter. I don't think Black Lives Matter discounting black on black crime. The only thing that their niche, because everything has a niche, it's like breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer awareness does not demean cervical cancer.
All other types of cancer.
Yeah, it doesn't do that.
That's apples and oranges. Their slogan, their motto is Black Lives Matter. There's no niche to that. All Black Lives Matter. So why see, that's what I'm saying. And obviously we may not have all the answers. And it's not to even say that their cause isn't just in certain areas. But when you say Black Lives Matter and you don't care for the higher percentage of Black lives being lost, that speaks to me.
What they're trying to do is remind everybody that there's a system. That what I was referring to when I'm talking about redlining, and
system
I'm talking
about so it's my brother. If the system is not,
but the system causes the black on black crime. So when you talk about the entire
causes black on black crime.
The
system causes black on black crime.
Yes.
All right. So in other words, it's not the gun. It's the gun that kills the person, not the person shooting the gun.
Let me give you an example.
I'm glad you brought up the gun. I'm glad you brought up the gun. The first time the United States tried to ban guns, assault rifles, was when the Black Panthers stormed the Capitol in Los Angeles. Is the only time they wanted to ban assault rifles
because they had assault weapons and whatnot.
But okay, well let's fast forward to now. There's a huge outcry for a gun ban now. What would you say the reason is behind that?
It's not gun. It's the difference between now and then. Now it's not talking about banning guns. Now it's talking about having qualifications to own assault rifles. To own assault. I think that there's no, like, the push now is everybody like, this is just screwed up by people that want you to think they're banning guns. I've looked at a lot of legislation and bills and stuff that people try to talk about. The only thing they saying is, hey, to have an assault rifle, you might need to take some tests, you might need to do this, you might need to do that. They're not like, you can have your hunting rifle and you can have your handgun, but you know, it's just like the military. Anybody been to the military know you have to be trained to handle an assault rifle.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not one-sided, it's not systemic in a ban on assault rifles.
I'm saying it now. It's happening now because more African Americans have those assault rifles.
That's almost to say, but for us to ride with that narrative, to think that this ban on assault rifles now, it's almost to demean our ability to pass certain tests when it comes to owning an assault rifle and carrying these certain qualifications. That's not systemic.
And that's the thing, is we're not speaking against ourselves when we're talking about this. We're speaking against those making the laws.
Yeah.
Not against us as Black people in order to not think we could pass a test. What?
No. But listen, the laws that you're talking about they're not specifically targeted to Black people. That's not.
No, they're not.
We wouldn't think police officers killing Black people was targeting either, but
it's not targeting. If Black people were the only people getting killed by police officers, I'm right there with you.
Now I will say this. I will say this. The subconscious programming of devaluing people, and that's what we're looking at when we talk about when Black Lives Matter. When we talk about the whole entire systemic injustice, the subconscious biases that are programmed in everybody's mind about Black people. When a person walks in a store, you know, like we're as Black people, we're always expected to conform to whatever environment we're in. That is programmed, and that is programmed in all of us.
From
you know what
parents.
I'm saying? And you know, so we're automatically programmed, you know, to say, okay, when we go into you know, certain circles, we have to be like those circles, you know, or people gonna look at you weird, or they gonna think that, you know, for the longest, just like with Black women hair. You know, think about it. Just until the 2000s, you know, Black women had to put perms in their hair. They had no choice, you know, to even be accepted in society. A Black woman came out with an afro, she was gonna get misaligned, gonna get passed up for jobs, gonna get passed up for everything.
Hey, I think we gotta go one issue at a time.
Yeah, we do. So
because we're not looking at
issues. All these issues go together. All these issues go together.
But I'm gonna circle it back around for you.
We need to speak on it because you talk about the Black hair. For the most part, Black people was clowning their own people. But we've been clowning people because of their hair for the longest. But we're gonna expect different when it comes to white people.
Man, but Black people can do things different and say with each other than white people can do to us. You know what I mean?
Good point.
You know,
see, that brings a whole nother episode. Like, who can say the N-word and who can't?
Who can say the N-word?
Who can't? White people can't say it. That's what
right.
It is.
Hey, we shouldn't be saying. We shouldn't be saying.
Episode over.
Huh?
Right.
We shouldn't be saying.
Episode over.
I mean, yeah.
Remind me.
Shouldn't be saying.
Yes, we can say it. Let me explain. I'm gonna send you this thing by Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel Acho explained it very, very well. And I'm gonna send it to you. It's on his Instagram. But basically what it is like this, bro. That was a word that was turned by us into something good.
A term of yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you go, here's my whole thing. It's like when girls say, that's my bitch. Yeah. A man better not call that same woman a bitch.
Do it. We can't do it.
You know what I'm saying, bro? If I call if two girls right here beside each other and you're like, man, my bitch ride or die with me, I better not call her no bitch.
Right.
I better not do that shit.
Right.
Because you know what's gonna happen to me.
Gonna pop.
I
Right.
think that's where the lines get blurred.
No, it's simple. It's simple. Like, as a man, the bitch word towards a woman, a bitch word towards a woman in front of a woman is not the thing to do.
That's the same.
I know that.
But a woman can do it to another woman easy.
Before I even answer to that, to sum it up, like the American decline is a direct result of the American lifestyle. If society tells us something is okay, then that means it's okay. Morally, a woman should be called by her name, and a man should be called by his name. Not
bitch is a term of endearment when women are talking about that, though. Like that, and when women talk to each other like that's a term of endearment between them.
Between those two women.
That's just like saying peace or one love. That's like saying peace or bye.
How you think it don't matter.
Yes. I'm a big word dude. So I'm big on words.
Yeah.
And I know. So is that a term that's really building me up? When you look definitively,
it's them two women.
I'll call Reggie my nigga all day.
to somebody else it could be, but they probably aren't even thinking any wiser about what's really planted in my system.
Whenever another black man comes to
5,000 more better words to encourage and lift up your brother or your sister.
When a black man come to me and says, "Man, you my nigga,"
that's
and
right.
He's smiling and he hugged me, I know that I've earned his
feel
respect.
real to me.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, I'm not gonna say it to every black man I see.
Been done for so long, don't make it right.
I'm not gonna say to every black man I see. I'm not gonna agree every black man that I know. You know, say my nigga. You know, say because some men don't want to hear that.
Right.
But my man Reggie or my man Dez or Ben, I'm a yo.
Yeah.
I think that
when you say my, that's a ownership, a possession. It means something. You put my in front of.
Yeah,
that's why
I'm saying ownership, possession. You see what I'm saying? Do y'all see the programming? Ownership, possession. Y'all see the programming?
I get what Dad is saying. Dad is not saying as far as ownership, slavery.
Something. If you own nothing,
no, he's saying,
what do you mean? Yes, ownership. Yes. My love.
He's talking about Yeah. That's what he's talking about, love.
That's what that word is.
That's a separate word, though. That's a different word. That's a different word in itself.
I think I get what Dad is saying. He's talking about.
It means the same thing. It means the same thing. It's just another word.
I understand slangs and terms of endearment. I get that. But I think we blur the lines when we continue in certain way just because it's the norm, just because that's the way it's been. I mean, that goes right along with wanting to change certain systems that are in place, because we can't be naive to believe either that the justice system is perfect.
No, it's not.
Many
it's not.
But just because it's been imperfect, that doesn't mean we don't continue to try to make it better.
Like, and Calvin, that's what we're talking about with the whole thing when you talk about black on black crime. And I was going to get back to circling back to that. So when we talk about the whole thing with black on black crime, that's the reason why we want to make the justice system better and make the overall socioeconomic system better. Because once you start making the socioeconomic system better and you start making the social, like think about Atlanta, okay?
I feel you.
Now, there are crimes in Atlanta, but not as frequent as it is where, especially the resourceful places in Atlanta, like the Buckheads and the neighborhoods like that, where there are plenty of resources and that there's plenty of opportunity and stuff like that. You may have some little cats out there that want to just, commit crimes because, they feel like they can do it. But, like when you go to those poor places like in West Virginia and Kentucky, those people, which are predominantly white, those people commit just as many crimes.
Let me speak on something real quick, Reg.
Just as many crimes in those places. But here's the other thing. The difference.
So let me drop it to you on Kentucky. I'm from Camel. I mean, I used to live in Campbellsville, Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
The situation in Campbellsville right here, you know what I'm saying? Basically, it's factories, things of that nature, you know what I mean? That's only, and they have one college in there, Campbell University, that most people from Campbellsville don't even go to. You know what I mean? Predominantly black, you know what I mean? There's not really any opportunities. You got restaurants or you got factories, you know what I mean? And so right now, their biggest thing is drugs. You know what I mean? Because they don't see no outlet. It's the only thing they do the most. You know what I'm saying? Drugs is high priority there. You know what I mean? It's because they feel like, well, there's no other opportunities for them.
Nothing else.
And circling back around, Calvin, is what you were saying too. So think about it. Those cities, they at least spread out because they country. Now think about when you talk about the Chicagos, the Baltimores and stuff. These people are not spread it out. Yeah, they on top of each other. Yeah, and then that also leads to another thing that you're very passionate about that I heard you say. That's gonna also lead to people committing more abortions and stuff too. So when people start saying, "Oh man, black," that's why I hate when white people try to use it. I'm like, don't use that with me, because here's the thing: until you vote for legislature and you agree that healthcare is important, that people that actually want to have their baby, you make it an environment where they can actually say, I actually can take care of this baby. Because here's the thing, nobody want to bring something into this earth that they can barely take care of themselves. They can barely take care of themselves.
Let me answer that because
it's gonna go to why you having sex and having kids anyway.
Oh, but you already know. We're not touching the root of the problem. We're scratching the surface. Like if we have people who are let's go back around.
That's just weird. If you broke and to do, what you gonna do? Reproduce?
Bro, look, reason why teen pregnancy is so up. Like I grew up in Mississippi. Mississippi got the highest teen pregnancy ever, and they got a church on every fucking corner. They talk about Jesus, God more than any place in the union. We also first in the worst in everything. We also the highest in infant mortality rates because we don't put money into healthcare and different stuff like that too. So I'm sitting back and I'm looking at all that, but we're a pro-life state, we're a Christian state, we're all of this. And that's the reason why I'm very passionate against stuff like that, because here's my whole thing like that is, man, I can't control what nobody else do. Whatever decision that they make is between them and their creator. If I want more people on this earth, I gotta create a life. I gotta create a society where they can thrive. Because a baby being born that doesn't have education, that's not fed, that doesn't have proper health care, is a baby that you have set up on a kamikaze mission.
For failure.
So that goes back to so that means to say slave owners were right in killing black babies.
No.
Well, no. That's completely different because
no, hold on. Let me finish though. Let me finish because
that's false equivalence.
That's apples and oranges.
We were forced into slavery.
If you don't have the right conditions to raise a baby,
forced into slavery.
Forced into slavery.
We're not talking about slavery. We're talking about the murdering of black babies. So
you brought up the slave owner. What do you mean we're not talking about slavery?
Let me speak to it. Let me speak to it. Let me speak to it. Okay, so, and of course it's a very outlandish comparison. Y'all gotta understand that.
I did.
Okay,
we knew.
I'm trying to drive a point home, okay?
Okay.
Slave owners.
You got a tough crowd. You got a tough crowd right here, man.
Oh my gosh!
Welcome to my brother's keeper. Welcome to my brother's keeper.
Absolutely.
Okay. But this is what gets me because I know. When we look at all things considered, okay, 2 points real quick. If we go back to a society that's impoverished and struggles to really gain or see opportunities, our answer can't be it is what it is, but we've got to look elsewhere for the answers. No. We have to start looking into that problem and showing a different way. Because the thing is, if you continue to do the same thing, you're going to get the same results.
Insanity.
It's just like with abortion. Yes. And this is outside of rape, obviously. But if there's teen pregnancy and there's so many babies who are being born that their parents aren't able to support them or aren't ready to support them, then we need to look and see, okay, why is it that at this young age they're so hypersexed anyway?
And we'll go all the way back.
Wait, let me explain.
Why don't we ever look at our own culture?
Go back into systemic, society, opportunity, education.
And let me give you some science. Did you know that the hormones of a human, now we know how horny we get and we're all in our 30s. And you can go back and look and think about it yourself. When you have the most testosterone and women have the most estrogen from the start of puberty up to 25 years old. That's why we all grew up kind of confused, man. Like we'd be sitting at our desk and our dick would just get hard for no reason. Like at school and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all remember them days?
I be talking about keyboard at work, nigga. Like, what's going on right there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Like we stay horny 24 hours, 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it was crazy. So, so from the age of 12 years old, right, from 12 to 25, you have the most testosterone, or the women that have the most estrogen at any point in time in their entire life. First of all, and one of the things that I'm kind of a revolutionist when it comes down to this, but it's proven that vasectomies are very safe and they are reversible. I think that parents should be pushing, instead of getting women on birth control or teenage girls on birth control, that young men should have vasectomies until they get ready to have babies, until they're actually ready to settle down, and then they can get it reversed and stuff like that, which is a lot more safer than the birth control pills and different stuff like that we ask women to do. Because here's the thing, bro. People gonna have sex. We're animals. We're animals.
It's programmed.
Everybody gonna have sex.
That's the thing. See, that goes right along to a decline. American decline is a direct result of the American lifestyle. What happened to self-control? What happened to people who have self-control? That's the thing with our society.
We all have vices.
We're okay to go with our passions and whatever we feel.
Well, I'll tell you why it's so bad in America. The reason why it is so bad in America is because of the control and the suppression. I lived in Europe for a few months.
You gotta be kidding.
Let me tell you, they got naked statues of naked men and women all over Italy. You know what I'm saying? They're very open about sex. They talk about it. The kids know about sex. They even drink at a young age. Kids smoke at a young age. They don't have the problem with teen pregnancies and stuff as we do in the United States, because they're
more
very
open
about a human body being a human body. We sexualize and we suppress humans. You know, have you ever heard of the preacher kids that been so suppressed for so long?
Preacher kid, I was one. I was one.
The biggest hoochies.
It's suppression. we made sex. That's what I'm saying. We made sex in the human body such taboo that's why you got, like I said, Mississippi, parents don't teach you about sex. Parents just, they
teach you about work first.
It just, Southern state, that's why you have
So Reggie, would you agree that's a better, because speaking from someone who has had a vasectomy and doing all the research before, they are not guaranteed reversible. Not guaranteed. It ain't guaranteed. So would you agree that alternative methods, such as beginning to be more open about sex, while still promoting practicing self-control would be a better option?
Yeah.
It would.
People just love to teach abstinence. Abstinence doesn't work. You need to teach.
Abstinence does work until you have sex.
Let me look at it.
Abstinence stuff goes out the window because you've had sex and you know the
Let me go back to it. I'm going to say it one more time. The decline in America is a direct result of the American lifestyle. We can look at all the numbers that a family structure, a certain family structure, those who have the father and the mother in the home are more likely to not commit crimes, or more likely to go on and actually do great things. So we look at the family structure being broken down in America, and we have no answer. Our answer to it is do what you want. Nobody wants to go back and that's the thing. That's one thing about the Black Lives Matter that got me. One of their 13 guiding principles is to disrupt the Western society. Yeah, let me read it word for word, so I don't, because let me go ahead and read this word for word.
The Western society's definition.
I mean, this is what gets me, and we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family. Western prescribed nuclear family. What they don't seem to understand, or what they don't want to say, is that quote unquote nuclear family was not Western prescribed. That quote unquote nuclear family has been laid from the foundation of the world.
Okay,
and not to even get on, because I know there's issues with people in Christianity. But if we look morally, because a lot of our morals are inherent. A lot of them we fight against it, but we know without ever being taught, without Jesus ever being drove down your throat. People know this, but they would rather go and here, Damon, I'm gonna let you right in, but we would rather go and have the freedom to indulge in whatever ideas, fantasies, lust that we desire.
I got something for you.
Rather than practice some self-control, or rather than to look at a prescribed family, and it's not nuclear. That's what it gets me. Who are they to say that a father and a mother in a home is a nuclear family?
Man, so
that's all I got to say on that, man.
I got you.
I'm passionate about that.
So
because
when it comes to self-control, it was easy to have self-control. You have so much advertisement for it. You know what I'm saying? So now you have pornography, you have social media. So no matter what you teach at home, your child still has access. Whoever still has access.
Does matter. It sure does matter what you teach at home.
Oh, and I'm not saying besides the fact what you teach at home, it does matter what you teach at home. At the same time, shoot, you're not gonna be with your child, whoever it is, every day. You know what I mean? And they're gonna be easily influenced. You know what I'm saying? Outside of you. Matter of fact, your child have more influences once they step out this door. You know what I mean? And no matter what, and you only can wish and hope that what you say to your child sticks. But once they go outside this door, they get more influences that's going to tell them totally different than what you told them. And then if you got more, if you got 10 people going against what you say, this one person, you're fucked.
That's the thing. We have it. That's the thing, though. You can look at. We can't. That's the thing. A lot of these issues can't even be. But to me, they don't stick, because if you have one example of somebody overcoming these temptations or overcoming this peer pressure,
yes,
one can do it. Anybody can do it. We hope, like you say, the kids, we can only hope and pray that they would. But if we lay the foundation, the likelihood of them giving into that decreases.
But I also look at it too, just like there's different levels of, like when you look at the different levels of hormones, I think, when you talk about allowing, like the city that got the red light district, the place that got the red light district, I think Amsterdam.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. They have less violent sex crimes as we do here in the United States.
Because it's so open.
And it's open. And I hate to say it like this, but some people are genetically predisposed to some stuff. And no matter how much you try to suppress them through church or through morals, that's what they're genetically predisposed to.
You know what? Wait. Can I say something to that real fast? Can I say something to that real fast? He's exactamundo. The reason is because I was sexually molested, when I was a kid, you know what I mean? And that in itself it's like a trigger, it's trauma. Yeah. Like you said, genetically, and then boom, and now I got 6 kids in my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
You feel me? I was promiscuous. And also, then I'm going back to what you said. You're right. If it's at home, if you have more than one person, you know what I mean, teaching that at home, that's where it starts at. But the thing is, nowadays, most parents are single parents. You know
and I think when they say nuclear, then when they talk about it, I don't think it's an attack on the mother-father dynamic. I don't think that's an attack on that.
That's what I tried to tell it.
What they're saying is that what's going on is that a lot of time our value as Black people is looked up on if we have a mother and a father in our life or in the household. Mm-hmm. I think we got to break away from that narrative.
You know what? Okay.
Because people are being valued because of that.
I
and
don't
we've
think so.
seen it.
I understand what you're coming from and what they mean. You gave me a deeper understanding of what they're saying there. So
yeah,
I do.
Because I think, because here's the thing.
I don't think people are looked at as that determined by their value.
I've seen it. Let me tell you how I've seen it. Whenever people find out my mom and dad have been married for 55 years, a whole different respect level go up for me from other people. And I've seen other people that I've talked to, and those same people reaction when they find out that person came from like a single parent home or a dysfunctional family, like, sorry for you. Yeah, I know that. It was like an immediate letdown. Like they started treating that person as
different.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
As
right.
they were, as if they were hindered for some reason or another.
Right.
Like they were disabled.
And I got treated with, oh, wow, that's incredible. Your parents, I got elevated because of that.
like even though, like even the reactions of others knowing the type of structure you were raised in, I don't think that has any. What people know, the type of structure that you're raised in, it doesn't have any. There's no direct correlation with the decisions that that individual makes.
I think it does directly how they treat you.
Wait, one thing. Well, you can only base that on how they talked and treated you before you told them that. Reggie, before you told them that, you didn't get that same respect. You didn't get that till after you told them you were the two-parent household. So yes, direct revelation.
Because they had preconceived connotations about me. They had preconceived connotations about me.
From the beginning.
When they found that out, and they found out, you know, like what my brothers do and what I've accomplished. It's like, and that brings me back to my whole, you know, I've earned so much respect because of the things I've accomplished and stuff that I've seen and where I travel, the money that I've made, different stuff like that. I've received a lot of respect for that. But before people found that out, there have been certain ways that I've been treated before they found that information out.
All right, well,
and I've seen it with. And I've seen it also with some of my homeboys and what they experienced. I never, as people said, I never forget where I came from. I never have forgotten before I accomplished a lot of the stuff that I've accomplished and developed the reputation that I've developed, how I was treated.
Let's talk because we're going on 2 hours. I'm getting from a wife.
Oh, you're getting it? Okay.
Yeah. Before we do that though, I think we've touched on almost everything. I think we can talk. We've even touched a little bit on continuing efforts, but I do want to bring up something that that I think about as far as justice, not social justice, but justice as a whole, or social justice, but. A lot of times I see that it's possible, and we discuss a lot through systemic racism, through or systemic. I guess we never even said the word oppression. But can you all agree that the problems that our ancestors had, even 67, going back as far as 60s, 70s, are not the same problems or obstacles that we face today? And if so, like how you say that some things are set and ingrained, how long before these things begin to change?
Well, as he said before, the dying off of that generation is unfortunately where we have to hope, I guess, that some of these ingrained mindsets will go away.
Now, what about, you're speaking to white people, but what about black people? What about us? What do we do?
As we continue to see a change, I believe we also will change.
So are you saying there's nothing on our part in the present that we need to do to better our situations?
See,
as far as the black people as a people,
I feel like we have. I feel like we've already. Look at us right now. You know what I mean? We all different walks of life right now.
Taking big steps.
You know what I'm saying, from the statistics. You know what I mean? Technically, you know what I mean? I just feel like for everyone else to catch up with what we're trying to do with our own lives, you know what I mean? Opportunity is very important, man. You know what I mean? And some people are in situations saying they might not be able to overcome. Period. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean you know, saying that us as brothers can't put out, you know what I'm saying, that good seed, you know what I'm saying, for everybody else to catch up to what we're trying to do in general.
And I think most of us as black people have already started doing a lot of things. Black people are very, very involved with their communities. Yeah. I think a lot of times they only know, most of them in most communities only know one way, and that's through the church.
Right.
And most of them need to be exposed to other ways of doing that except for the church. Right. I think black pastors are going to have to start getting and infiltrating into the community and getting more proactive ways to get their black people involved in the community other than just saying, okay, come to church, donate tithes,
and go home and have a potluck.
Everyone, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
I agree.
And I say, because like living in Black communities, understanding the dynamic, Black people are very giving people. We are a very grace-filled people. We will forgive quick. We will love hard, but we are very candid, and we will also hate you hard too if you hate us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? And even when it comes to each other, you know, if you hurt, because we love passionately. We love with passion. So you can tell, like all of us right now, we love each other, but you see how passionate we're talking with each other. But nobody upset. Nobody like getting all personal, because we understand, hey, the big picture of it is we love what we're doing right now. We feel like that we're having conversations where we're each individually growing. We're each individually, now we're trying to put this out there so to challenge other people to have these same type of conversations as brothers. Also, you know, also we want white people to have these conversations too. We want our sisters to have these conversations. We want other people to have these conversations, because guess what this is going to prompt us to do when we go out this week? We're going to go out and we're going to be about what we talk about.
Amen.
Because
to be about what we talk about.
We're speaking to each other right now. We're going to hold ourselves accountable to doing that.
Facts.
And so, you know, and I think that's what we got to do. We got to continue to find out ways other than the church to get involved with the community. And like, I know for myself, I've invested myself in the Springfield Community Gardens. And my initiative through that is to really, I'm going to learn how to garden, and I'm going to lead, because I'm big into like alternative medicine. Y'all know I've told y'all about that. I'm big in alternative medicine and herbs and, you know, plant-based eating and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to really try to get involved with that and use that as a way to help us as Black people get back down to what we used to barter. You know, when Uncle Joe down the road grew peas, and, you know, Auntie Susan grew the okra, and they, you know, and then so you knew who to get that from. And it brought a sense of awareness, brought a sense of community together. Because guess what we would do too when we go exchange okra and peas together? We'll sit down and talk. Yeah, we'll sit down and talk. We'll sit down and we'll talk about each other kids and grandkids and stuff like that. And, you know, and introduce people to each other. And yeah, this is my grandbaby, right? He came up here and rode with me today. You know what I'm saying? So when the kids see each other out on the street, they're not strangers. You know, they won't treat each other a certain way, because they're like, oh man, yeah, that's so-and-so, that's grandma friend, a granddaddy friend, son right there. You know what I'm saying? So like if that person saw somebody bullying that person, then they'd be like, hey man, I know him, like leave him alone. You know, it's stuff like that that I look at when I look at like, when I look at like the initiative that I want to do with the Springfield Garden. I want to empower people that follow me and say, hey man, get involved with doing gardens and stuff, man. Because it's therapy for your mind too. Along with it being therapy for your mind, it brings your community together. You got, you know, is this, you know.
No, that's a good initiative. I follow a guy on TikTok. I first discovered YouTube. I forgot what I was searching for, but he gave me some good hints. But he's an urban gardener, and his garden you gotta check it. But this dude is serious, and he's over in California. He ain't got a lot of land, and so he's really showing people how to do it in such a small space. But that's a very good initiative. Now, I think we go in this episode right here. Yeah. I want us all to stay on so we just discuss real quick and go ahead and nail down next week, if possible.
Hey, before we go anywhere, I want to let you know that Black Lives Matter's main mission was eradicate white supremacy. That's all.
Their main mission, and that's the thing. That's their number one. Man, you would, man. I'm trying to end up so you want to open it.
We're gonna leave. Look at that in there real quick.
Boy, you know,
I love it.
My brother's keeper, man.
I'm video, man. Because that
episode,
you
fire.
A whole 30 minutes. Yeah, everybody. Hey,
fire.
Love y'all, brothers. And
love you back.
Hey, love y'all too, man.
This is what it's for. And so that's the end of the first episode of My Brother's Keeper. But make sure to tune in next week for another episode. We love y'all.